We are going to take some video in the Loop, and this is the weekend where on August 31st the new station at Washington and Wabash opened up, and Randolph Wabash is closing Sunday, September 3rd. So we're going to have some real neat transit options that we can explore, and you'll never see it again. You can, through the 3rd, or maybe it closes on the 3rd, I don't know what day. Probably it closes at the end of the day on Saturday when the new pick comes in. But at least for now, you can take the pink, orange, brown, green, purple from, depending if you're on the outer loop track, you can go from Washington and Wabash to Randolph and Wabash. And if you're on the inner loop track, you can go from Randolph and Wabash to Washington and Wabash. You'll never be able to do that again. They're going to, starting on the 3rd, they'll close that station, and they will close that. So this is going to be kind of like some rare video footage, and so enjoy it. We're at the Merchandise Mart, and this is Friday, September 1st, 2017. Over there is a Purple Line Express going north, or I'm on a Brown Line train. We're standing, now we're moving.
Washington and Wells is next. Doors open on the right at Washington and Wells. Transfer to Orange and Pink Line trains at Washington and Wells.
It's so pretty.
This is Washington and Wells. Transfer to Orange and Pink Line trains at Washington and Wells. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball.
We get up there.
Doors closing. Quincy is next. Doors open on the right at Quincy. Transfer to Metra and Amtrak trains at Quincy. This is Quincy. Transfer to Metra and Amtrak trains at Quincy. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball. LaSalle and Van Buren is next. Doors open on the right at LaSalle and Van Buren. Transfer to Metro trains at LaSalle and Van Buren. This is LaSalle and Van Buren. Transfer to Metro trains at LaSalle and Van Buren. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball. Doors closing.
Here comes up State Library.
This is Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren. Transfer to Red and Blue Line trains at Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball. Adams and Wabash is next. Doors open on the right at Adams and Wabash. Transfer to Orange and Green Line trains at Adams and Wabash. This is Adams and Wabash. Transfer to Orange and Green Line trains at Adams and Wabash. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball.
Here comes the rare part. We're at Adams and Wabash. Next.
Doors closing.
believe Washington Wabash will be coming up. The debut of Washington Wabash. But the motor person hasn't announced it, which is disturbing.
This is Washington and Wabash. Connect to Metra and South Shore Line Millennium Station.
Oh, look
Washington
at this.
and
This is a snazzy
This
station.
is a brown line train.
Oh my god, this is a fucking nice ass station. Hell yeah. And then next will be Randolph and Wabash, and that will be gone in a day or two. Damn, that's a nice station. Okay, that's ending. And here's Randolph. They're not going to have this open very much longer. The last real... Tomorrow is pretty much the last day for this station. Goodbye, Randolph and Wabash. See, they didn't even call it. They figure let the people have it for another day. So this is Randolph and Wabash. And the doors will be closing on this one before too long. Randolph and Wabash. Goodbye, Randolph and Wabash. In the old raggedy old wooden platform and not accessible to people with disabilities. And look at that old rotten platform. Look at that. Look at that. Old rotten wood, stinky wood. Look at that.
Doors open on the right at State and Lake. Transfer to Red Line trains at State and Lake.
Goodbye, Randolph and Wabash. Nice knowing you. Goodbye, Randolph and Wabash. Harold Washington College.
This is State and Lake. Transfer to Red Line trains at State and Lake. This is a Brown Line train to Kimball. Clark and Lake is next. Doors open on the right at Clark and Lake. Transfer to green, orange, and blue line trains at Clark and Lake. This is Clark and Lake. Transfer to green, orange, and blue line trains at Clark and Lake. This is a brown line train to Kimball. Doors closing. Merchandise Mart is next. Doors open on the right at Merchandise Mart. Your safety is important. If you observe unattended packages, vandalism, or suspicious activity, inform CTA personnel immediately. This is Merchandise Mart. This is a Randolph train to Kimball.
Okay, and that concludes this video of a tour around the Chicago Loop.